Hello, everyone. Happy New Year when it comes January 1st, but also really recognizing the spring equinox and the new moon right after the spring equinox is when it's most powerful to have a New Year's resolution, because going by the moon, that is the new year when spring is out, okay? But it doesn't mean that we can't, enjoy the winter festivities of New Year's, okay? And the fireworks and the celebration. And like I said in my other video, which you should probably watch before this one, is you're setting your intention for the new year. Rather, you are looking to the past to see what you've done as a reflection, and then looking to the future of what you'd like for yourself. Okay, so the winter solstice is to allow your energy to rise and to just kind of lift yourself in the middle of winter, in the sense, or the start of winter, just to really keep yourself uplifted, especially if you live in an area where it's cold and it's dark, and it gets dark early, then, you're going to need that, right? And January, February, and parts of March is to really use the new moons to help motivate you, and the waxing moon to get rid of things that you don't need, both physical items, donating, and getting negative thoughts and people out of your mind, any limiting beliefs and all of that, right? And how do we get to the calendar? All right, the great thing is that we have the calendar in store already, right? Way before the new year. So you can use from December, right, on to really look, and especially the winter solstice is the time to, the winter solstice, or when the moon is the new moon after winter solstice, is a great time to start the calendar, right? The new moon after winter solstice. We want to start everything on the new moon. So what you want to do is to have a birth chart. Okay, your birth chart is very important. So what you want to do in your spiritual calendar for the new year, right, based off the moon cycle, and you can add the sun in here too, because a lot of people are sun worshippers. They like the sun, okay, and both is excellent. So it all depends on what side. But going first on the moon, you want to find out the day that you were born. Okay, now if you're born on any day that you're born is great. You're here. Congratulations, right? But what you want to do is look at when you were born. Were you born on a new moon, a full moon, any kind of solar, lunar eclipse? It really tells a lot about your personality, so that would really help. Okay, and I've noticed that with people that are born on a solar eclipse or a solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, their mood is like, they're wonderful, talented people, but they can also have, like, when they're sad or whatever, they could just really express it. They're just like, you just see it on them, right? So they really have strong emotions. If you're born on a first quarter moon or the last quarter moon, very important. You want to mark those on the calendar, all right? So we're just talking about the moon cycles. Is it a waxing moon, a new moon, first quarter, last quarter, eclipses, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses? You want to mark those, okay? So we're starting with you guys. You want to mark that. Then you want to look at the days of the week. What day of the week were you born? So on that one, you want to maybe use a color, your favorite color, and like highlight that, okay? So whatever day of the week it is, you want to highlight that, all right? And I'm pretty intense. So this one, it has like the boxes like that. So I would do those first, right, just to keep organized. And then I would go to these ones, which is just the each day. I would just go to that one each day. So say you were born on a Monday. Monday, even if you work, you're going to take out 1 hour out of that day to either meditate, to stretch, but do something that's relaxing to you and to breathe. If you happen just to breathe and relax. But if you happen to have that day off, right, then it's the day before that you get as many things done as you can, but you use that day to do whatever, but you just recognize it as a day to just relax or do something that you feel that you want to do. So you want to be aware of that. And once you figure out the day you were born, like for me, I always felt connection to the day right before and the day of. Even if I didn't know it was that day, I knew the date, but never focused on the day, right? And I did ask that. I did actually ask that. But you'll find that you're naturally connected. Like, oh, I always like, say Mondays. And then I always like going into Tuesdays or something. You always feel like it's that intuitive connection. Okay, so that's one way those are the two ways that you want to use the calendar. Now, find out what moon was it a couple of days before you were born. Was it a full moon in Leo? Was it a new moon in Virgo? Okay, find out what that was and then mark those ones. Okay, or if it was leading up to that. Okay, mark that. But if you were born right before a new moon, what new moon was that? That's pretty important. Okay, now if you were born the day of the full moon or the day before the full moon, that's also important too. So you can mark both of those and then use those moons as your power moons and really work with them and know what they mean. So you'll be watching an astrologer to know, hey, generally a Leo moon is for like courage and confidence or whatever, right? But then what was the other planetary positions and what was that? Now when that other cycle, if that same kind of moon comes up, that's really powerful for you too. Okay, I hope you guys got that. All right, there's so many other things I should have written down a list, but just want to give a little bit of information. So that's really important because say if you were born, let me try to find one, Sagittarius, and then before that was like a Gemini moon, or a Gemini moon comes after that, whatever, and then a Sagittarius moon right before, or a Sagittarius moon after. So you were in that vibe of your opposite sign. Geminis and Sagittarius are opposite. So, you want to figure that out and find that connection. And maybe it could have been another important position in your birth chart, like your rising or your moon sign or your north node sign. So just looking at the moons that you were in between or close to is very important, and you can observe those as your power days for meditation or manifestations and so on. So that's just some information I want to share. I think just starting with that is really important, and using the book to take notes on how that day was for you was very important. And what you want to do. It sounds really tedious, but this is a really fun time to be off of the internet and just having your own personal time. You can, if you're an artist, and even if you're not, having colored pencils and writing down, waxing moon and waning moon. So you don't have to write like it's in Pisces or whatever, but write down waning moon and waxing moon on there. So you have that, but so that it's not tedious, or you could print out a calendar, but writing it down yourself is so important. So not to make it tedious, writing down waning moon, waxing moon, and the full moon, new moon, half moon, quarter moon, first quarter moon, last quarter moon is very important, and you don't have to do it in one sitting. Like just break it up. That's why you have the new moon after the new moon after winter solstice. You start on that new moon, and you have that January, February, March. You have that whole time before the spring starts. But you just fill it out. Fill it out. Or if you want to get it done ahead of time, you could even fill it out in a new moon in November. I mean, whatever. That way it's all set for the new year. So you can technically do that as well, okay? But you want to also write down, if you are, say, a Sagittarius, you want to write down whenever the moon is in Sagittarius, because those are your power days, okay? When the moon is in Sagittarius. If there's another sign, you can write it down for your birth sign and your opposite sign, those two, okay? You usually find that you have like a lot of energy during those times. Also, you can find that you have a lot of energy during the days that is Aries moon. If that doesn't vibe with you, then if you're an air sign, you will feel a lot of energy on fire moon days. If you're an earth sign, you'll find you have a lot of energy during the water sign. It could be different for other people, but your opposite element, you can find that you're more energized on those days. Okay, and you don't have to be the opposite element. Sometimes you can feel really talkative on a Gemini moon day, right? You feel like you get more done. So really look at the moon calendar and see, when each zodiac is in that moon, and just see how your energy is and what you vibe to, and then you can fill that portion in. So it takes time to build it, so no worries, but you can jot down, especially on this part, you can jot down, hey, what was I feeling that day? How was things that day? And it's a good year practice. So you can get one this size or the bigger size one. It depends on how much room you need. How your penmanship is. Do you write really small, or do you kind of write big? So you want to do that. And at the beginning of the book, another little tidbit. I want to see if this one has notes. This one has like the password stuff. So what I would do is, at the beginning part of the page, they usually give you the year before. So in the beginning part where they give you like September 30th, October 6th, whatever, you can write down the meaning of, full moon, meaning, waxing moon is for things to grow. New moon is the start of a new cycle, and waxing is things growing, expanding, and then waning is things becoming smaller, decreasing, because the moon, is moving further away from us in waning, and waxing is becoming the full moon coming closer to us, right? So then you can just kind of jot that down so you can go back to it later. And, just having that as your start. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And thank you guys for watching. Click like, ask questions, message me. And yeah, that's it. Happy New Year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.